I've never been as worried as I am now about whether or not my kids and grandkids will be able to carry on.
He said, I love you, Mr. Trump. I need to see the fruit of your love.
5 of my customers have committed. That's how serious that this is.
And what it costs for us to farm is astronomical now.
I farm with paid-for equipment. All my tractors are 50 years old, and I can't hardly make this deal work. I think the tariffs are the ice cream on the cake of a perfect storm.
After a horrible year last year where most farmers in Arkansas Delta lost money, this year's going to be worse.
We made a decision to go out this year in the spring. So my son will not be the seventh generation on our farm.
We're going to lose 25 or 30% of the farmers in this country if they don't do something. It has to be done, and it's not just here. It's everywhere.
So that's what we got for American farmers, is zero empathy. We want them to fail. That's what you're saying out there. That's what Americans are saying right now is, well, next time you'll vote the right way, or that's what you get for who you voted for. That, to me, I want to say it doesn't sound very American of people, but here lately, that's all we're doing is complaining.
Okay, this is for MAGA supporting farmers, which is the most of them, the majority of them. This is not what's happening. If you pay attention to all your right-wing media, including Fox News, we on the left have been showing you empathy by trying to scream, this is happening. This is going to happen to farmers. We did it before you elected him, and we've been doing it after he was elected. I can't tell you how many videos I personally made after you elected Trump, where you are being destroyed. That's what empathy is. And it's not a lack of empathy when we just want to stay out of the way of letting the consequences of your actions take root. You're asking us as taxpayers to bail you out. We were bailing you out through U.S. aid and so many other Democratic funded programs. And we were happy to do that. We want those back. I don't see one MAGA supporter demanding that U.S. aid be funded again, because that's what kept a lot of you guys afloat. We on the left have been screaming for that. But if you want to talk about a lack of empathy, it's not going over our heads that you had no empathy whatsoever for our LGBTQ community and what was going to happen to them if you won your election. You had no empathy for transgender people, and those include kids with families who love themselves, each other, families, tight families, going through a hardship like you guys are as farmers. You didn't show empathy for them. You didn't show empathy for women who are being pushed now into this purity culture and this Charlie Kirk warped vision of making us just baby-making machines. You showed no empathy for brown-skinned people trying to earn a living, being thrown to the ground and beat up and kept in for-profit prisons that are benefiting Republican donors. You showed no empathy for any of them. But you're going to come on here in your high fucking horse and tell us we're the ones that don't show empathy. I want you to show one right-wing news source or content creators, Charlie Kirk, any of them, that have been talking the way we have about how farmers are being impacted by the Trump administration. Find one, and I will stand corrected. You're going to find nothing but those of us, the libtards, who've been fighting for your asses.
This video is for MAGA farmers and MAGA farmers only. If you're not a MAGA farmer, go ahead and scroll. Hi guys. It appears as though you were suffering the first consequence for your actions in your entire life. You were told in excruciating detail what was going to happen if you voted for Donald Trump. And because you didn't believe anyone, you voted for him anyway. And now your crops are rotting in the fields because he deported all of your workers. Your money is drying up because there's no one to buy these crops from you because he shut off all exports due to this weird global game that he has no clue how to play. And it appears as though you generational farmers are going to be losing the land that has been in your families for generations. And so you're begging to be bailed out so that that doesn't happen. We're not doing it this time. You've managed to get away throughout your entire lives and your entire careers of having no consequences for the choices that you make. The choices that affect others, but never affect you, because you always get a government bailout. You don't want your tax dollars to go to the welfare queen who's using food stamps to feed her kids, but you've got your hand out like Mona Lisa Saperstein asking for money anytime anything goes slightly wrong for you. I think you may have gambled on this one too many times, and your requests for help are falling on deaf ears, not just from those of us who warned you, but from the government officials that you're begging for money. Arkansas farmers gathered in a town hall meeting a few days ago to pray for help. I'm not sure why you think that prayer is going to change Donald Trump's mind, but do you, I guess. I'm very sorry that you're looking at losing everything right now because of the way that you voted, but I'm not sorry to see you suffering a consequence for once. Because as much as you hate that mother who's trying to use food stamps to feed her children and call her a welfare queen, American farmers are the biggest welfare queens on the entire planet. And you've gotten too used to sucking up that government money to bail you out of all these problems. It sucks. It's tragic. I don't want it to happen, but this is what you voted for. We voted to help you. You voted to screw us. And it looks like you're getting screwed along with the rest of us, which is exactly what we told you was going to happen. Anyway, love y'all.
Thoughts in my car before I go into work. I'm scrolling just to kind of wake up, and farmer after farmer after farmer after farmer posting about how they're losing their farms because of these tariffs and how they can't survive. And then they have the audacity to get on and say, you shouldn't say we voted for it. If somebody looks you in the eye while you're standing in a crowd wearing a big red hat supporting them, and they tell you they're going to put forth tariffs and that will hurt your farm, and you vote for that, you wanted it. At the same time, many of you pretending to be Christians are cheering on people losing health care and food and help from the government, and now you want help from the government. Who are you? Why do you think you deserve it more than anybody? Because you assume you work harder? There are people that are getting help that work 2-3 jobs that can't pay their bills. And now we hear, well, you shouldn't hope we lose our farms, and you shouldn't be cheering for this, and you're not American if you tell the farmers FAFO. No, we're American. We wanted our farmers to succeed. It's why we didn't want you to vote for it. If someone tells you who they are, believe them. And if you get told they're going to do things to destroy your life and you vote for it, we're just saying don't cry to us. We wanted to help you. We were the ones who wanted you to keep your farms and wanted to help you. We tried to tell you, and you basically shoot us off. And as Christians, you cheered for other people losing their way of life. And now you're like, have compassion, have empathy. We had empathy. We wanted America. We wanted farmers. We wanted cheaper things. We wanted everybody to prosper and benefit in this country. You're cheering them, taking people and deporting people that aren't doing anything wrong. Many who work on your farms. You got what he told you. You stood at a rally with a red hat and cheered about how America was going to be great again. Is it great? Is it great for you? Because what you're asking for is socialism. You're asking for a free handout. And last I remember, MAGA is not about free handouts. You get what you earn. You get what you can make that farm do. Next time, maybe listen to your friends, because you were so sure we were going to destroy America. We were trying to help you. So, yeah, I'm going to have to pay prices for food that the farmers have to increase. I'm going to have to pay the consequences of your vote. Boo-hoo. Boo-hoo.
I do actually really give a shit that the farmers are losing their farms. I do actually really care about that. But it's not because I care about those people who literally asked for that to happen when they voted for an administration that wrote down in detail how they were going to do that. I don't really care that they are losing the farms. I care about the farmers losing the farms because it is finally the last great transfer of land and property that these insane oligarch GOP nutcases have been trying to do for decades. This is going to be the last big transfer of property. It already happened with all of our single family homes, all of our real estate. That's all now owned by corporations. This is the same thing is now happening with the farms. This is our American farmland that is now going to be wholly owned by corporations. And Americans who once owned and worked those fields for generations, and I speak as someone who is the first generation in my family who did not grow up on a farm. We owned those fields, worked those fields for generations, and now they're going to be sharecroppers, essentially. They're sharecropping on their own land. I don't feel bad for the people. I feel bad that the farms are now going to be owned by corporations. Does that mean I lack empathy? No, I don't think that it does. I struggle to find empathy for someone who is handed a piece of paper that says, I will hit you in the face if you vote for me. They vote for them, and then they get hit in the face. I don't have empathy for that. I don't have empathy for you causing your own demise, even though all of the rest of us were telling you that's what was going to happen and even voted for that not to happen. We were trying to save your farms. That's what we were doing. You didn't believe the person who wrote down on the piece of paper, I'm about to absolutely ruin your life. You didn't believe them. You didn't learn the lesson that when someone tells you who they are, you should believe them. And then you didn't learn it when we said, hey, they're going to do this to you. You should probably not vote for that. You said, nah, racism, brown people, brown people. So no, I don't have any empathy for you. I have a lot of sadness, regret, and general angst about American farmland now being owned by corporations. That is execrable, and I'm really upset about that.
Across rural America, farmers who proudly backed MAGA are now going bankrupt. From Nebraska to Iowa, from family farms to small ranches, the financial collapse is spreading, driven by tariffs, supply chain chaos, and corporate greed. But here's what's sparking debate. A lot of Americans aren't feeling sorry anymore. Online, you'll find people openly saying, they voted for this, they cheered for this, now let them live with it. It's harsh, but it's also the raw reality of FAFO. For years, MAGA farmers stood behind leaders who promised easy wins and better deals. Instead, they're now left with empty barns, soaring debts, and no safety net. And while they cry foul, others see this as the direct consequence of their own choices. So the question is, should we show sympathy for these farmers, or is this the perfect example of FAFO in action? So here we are. The same MAGA farmers who once waved the flags, shouted the slogans, and trusted the promises are now facing foreclosure, bankruptcy, and collapse. It's tragic, but it's also predictable. For years, experts warned that tariffs would crush American farmers. Instead of listening, many cheered for the trade wars. Now, the bills have come due. So what do you think? Should we pity these farmers, or should we hold them accountable for cheering policies that destroyed their own livelihoods? Because in the end, democracy is about choices. And when you put blind loyalty over facts, this is what happens. If you believe accountability matters, smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more breakdowns on democracy, politics, and FAFO moments unfolding in real time. Stay sharp, stay engaged, and remember, democracy only works if you do. Just a quick note. Full credit goes to the original creators of these videos. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.